Well, good morning. Welcome, everyone. My name is Allison Heaney, Vice President of Learning and Public Programming at the Museum of Latin American Art. We welcome you today, Wednesday, June 29th, 2022, to this edition of the MOLAA Zoom Project, in conversation with the artist André Komatsu, where MOLAA Chief Curator Gabriela Urtiaga will discuss with the artist his work and career. MOLAA also acknowledges the support of the Dwight Stewart Youth Fund, the Kenneth T. and Eileen L. Norris Fund, the Miller Foundation, and the Arts Council for Long Beach for their constant support of the educational programs at the Museum of Latin American Art. Each chapter of the MOLAA Zoom Project features a conversation between the most remarkable artists from Latin America and Latinx across the US and the rest of the world, and our MOLAA Chief Curator. Today, we focus on a series of specific artworks that require close inspection, a deliberate process of contemplation and exploration, delving into the ideas surrounding the creation of the works, their source of research and inspiration, in an effort to immerse ourselves in the world of the artists. In Chapter 2022 of the MOLAA Zoom Project, Gabriela Urtiaga will join artist André Komatsu, whose work deals with themes of regeneration, focusing particularly on the physical redevelopment of urban space as a wider metaphor for man, nature, or architecture in a continual process of change. André Komatsu was born in São Paulo and currently lives and works in the city. He is part of the generation that grew up with the resumption of democracy in Brazil and saw neoliberalism being implemented by economic policies of the 1990s. And it is in this context that his work is born. The artist questions different ways in which the man acts in the world, the ways he deals with urban space and established powers. Kumatsu was awarded the Marcantonio Virasai National Industry Award for Visual Arts in 2011. The Ili Art Cafe at Arco Madrid, 2011, Bolsa Pampolo in Belo Horizonte, 2005, among others, and was a finalist in the Future Generation Art Prize Kyiv, Ukraine in 2012. He participated in the artistic residencies at the Pampula Art Museum in Belo Horizonte, 2005, Bronx Art Museum, New York in 2009, Matadero in Madrid, 2010. His works are part of the collection of institutions at Tate Modern in London, the New York Museum of Modern Art, Pinacoteca de Estado de São Paulo, the Museum of Contemporary Art, Barcelona, and Myrtlesboro Institute of Modern Art. I'd like to welcome André Komatsu and our Chief Curator, Gabriela Urtiaga.
Thank you, Alison, and all the MOLAA team. Hola, bienvenidos, benvindo, welcome to MOLAA. I hope you are well and safe, and thank you for joining us today. Aló, André, benvindo, ¿cómo va? Thank you so much for opening up your studio to MOLAA and our audience. We are so pleased to have you with us today.
Hello, Gabriela. Hello, Gabriela. Thank you, Alison. Thank you for the team. I'm super happy for the invitation, a little bit nervous. Like Alison said, I think she presents super well my biography, but just repeating, like a Brazilian artist from São Paulo. I'm in São Paulo right now, and yeah, super happy for the invitation, and I hope could explain a little bit about my work.
Thank you, André. It's amazing. And well, of course, to start our conversation about your artistic practice, your amazing creative process, and also your interests and questions, I would like to invite you to talk about your beginnings as an artist, as a young person from São Paulo, Brazil, in South America, as part of the generation that grew up with the return of the democracy after more than 2 decades under a military dictatorship governments, right?
Right. Yeah. I started my career around 20 years ago, and like the Jason said and you said about during this return of democratization of the country, you know. And then we have like some governments. I think it's important to brief the Workers' Party, the PT party, the government of Lula and Dilma. I think I believe that help a lot on this process, on the process of the growth of the country. And unfortunately, right now we are actually in the opposite government, this Bolsonaro government, that we are living this authoritarian politics, this very right wing and genocide government. You know? But yeah, I think from the beginning, my artwork, I start to work and develop in many medias. So like drawing, installation, video, performance, and paintings, and that's sometimes I was more interested in architecture, sometimes more in like the experience of the body on the city, and trying to understand how we could feel the city, how to understand how we could capture like the reality, you know. And since then, it's a quite complicated. Sorry. Since then, I think I'm since I think 7 years, 8 years. I like more focus to research about reality. What's mean reality and how we can understand that. And for that, I think for like 5 years ago, I changed my MO to work and research and live. And I start to be part in another activist groups and collectives. Some they're like more like a social school. That's we act in the peripheric east zone in São Paulo, Cidade Tiradentes. The group called Ali. We form me and more some artists and I do in another another groups that call Galeria Reocupa, Aparelhamento. I think I'm telling that because sometimes, of course, my personal work is quite different than the action that I do in the collectives, but they are very important to understand and to continue to produce my artwork. So I think maybe 2015 was the one, like some mark on my production. I don't know if it was from Venice, but personally for me was the change of government that we have. So in 2015 we have this white cloak that they took out Dilma Rousseff and put like some Temer, some neoliberal there. I think maybe to prepare this actual government that we have here.
Yeah.
So we started this destroying process of the state and privatize everything, something like that. And I'm telling that about like this because all these political issues, social issues are very important to develop the artwork. So to think about, you know,
Yeah.
and of course in my artwork I formalize like some very sometimes strong geometric stuffs. But I think they all things are like a kind of metaphor of these layers of reality, like these layers that we are allowed to see and go through, forward. You know?
Yeah. And Andre, you are a really a deep observer of our time, a researcher and creator. And in each artwork, you emphasize the relationship between some materials, some primary element with social concepts, and explore the symbolic and metaphoric meanings that represent in your installation. And with the displacement and the contextualization of the object, you allow us to rethink and look the footprint, right? As a result of political and philosophical questions. And could you introduce us to your thoughts and concept through Noite Longa, Long Night from 2021, one of your recent project?
Yeah, this big installation I did last year in Pinacoteca do Estado de São Paulo. Is a project that they have in this era, this octagonal, and they invite artists to produce a one site-specific work. So I don't know if it's possible to see the image, but was like a huge installation around I think 70 meters square, something like that, 70 meters square. I think no, maybe more. That you have like this four entrance. So the space are in the middle of the building. That is a building constructed by Ramos de Azevedo on the 19th century. So they have like this kind of panoptic construction, you know. So this work, Long Night, Noite Longa, is this basically is these sticks, these spears that I put on 9 degrees on the floor, and then I hang like make a hole on these objects that are like a clock, like a earth bag, many books, coins, paper money, bottle, different labels of water. It's more like several objects. So when the public entry on the space, you have like this 4 meters and 50 high of these spears. That's have like these objects that the people on the first view enter on the space and see only these sticks, not only these spheres, like a very geometric, very on this gray military color. And then when the people start to look up, could read what book there were, which water label were, and but they had only like this possibility to see, don't touch. It's a kind of on like on Rome. I think was the first time some emperor he spear like many enemies heads to configure like the power of the empire, you know, to the enemy. And I think this information to put that. It's a kind of price of war, you know, because actually we are living in a war that is not declared here in Brazil. I think maybe part of the world, not only Ukraine. It's a different kind. The war that we are living here is our government against the population. They're killing us. So I think this artwork try to create this understanding, this reflection of these commodities, these metaphors, these elements that we are losing. No, so because we have here like these books, the information that we are losing, like the information that we understand this is the way to understand way to understand the reality, because with information, with history, with philosophy, with art, with we understand reality. We could develop like some thought, something, and this thing is a weapon for like this authoritarian governments, you know? And for this case, like one of the first acts of Bolsonaro government, they shut down the Minister of Culture and the Education. So I think it's a way to block the information, to block the reflection. So it's easier to control. So I think if you see like the objects, like for example the different labels of water, because if you understand water, it's like a natural recurso natural. It's a natural elemental. So if you understand that, if it's natural, it's for everyone. It's not privatized. And then you have like these different bottles with different labels. Which one is different? So for me, it looks like very strange when you privatize something that's you don't produce. It's natural. It's there. No, even like Earth is there. So, but we create like a strategy during the history that's we have to privatize to have like this power, to have the power against another one, to control it. So kind of.
No, but it's so important and necessary more than ever, André. And in your body of work, you create a strong connection around both your personal and collective experiences as an individual, but also as a part of the community. And you present in your different projects a lot of reference to open a conversation about the status and the dynamic of system of power, right? The control and the social inequalities, for example. And in that sense, could you explain to us about your framework in the next interesting series, Matriz Legal, Legal Matrix, as one of your recent work from 2021?
Yeah, this work I present in my last solo show in my Brazilian gallery here, Vermelho.
Mm-hmm.
The title of the name of the show was Voo Cego, is blind flight. You know, so like for this artwork, if you understand the meaning of matriz, the matrix is like the base, like the center, and then you have this legal. The term is not nice. It's more about the legality. We are talking about that it's a law. It's on the frame. It's on the system. So I created like this kind of drawings, this kind of abstraction. Of course, taken reference of like some Soulid work or another artworks, artists, and but basically it's like if you see this like this white square, and then I start to create this drawing with barbed wire falling like the same shape of the this matrix, no, this white square to create the whole composition of the work. This another one is this the same. So you have like this vertical, the horizontal, the dot, and I have like this echo reproducing this form. But to, like I said, I'm do like this abstraction, this geometry to talk about some metaphor. Um, for me, it's like when this basically trying to understand the like this systems of control and how they are they're just spreading this echo of this certain of this like a certain of this white square, certain of this form. But in the end, it's just the echo. That doesn't at the end you doesn't know about what they were meaning. They're um, trying to explain or control just the echo. So if you understand how is one example. Of course, like in every riot that we are super against the police, super against the army and everything. But at the end, they are just a piece to control like the population because who control them is running the country. And we are not talking about only like the president, but like these mega companies, you know.
Yeah.
Since I think we had like this redemocratization, which would change, start to change um, the idea of the policy, and Fernando Henrique start to Fernando just before La Collor, then Fernando Henrique try to start to change some political issues, starting to put like some more neoliberal uh, solutions for the country, and then we are living. I think maybe during the COVID, maybe the things are like less interfaced, less layered. I think they are more clear. I don't know outside, but here in Brazil, the things are like more clear, but I mean clear, they're not right, you know. They're more because I remember like before we had like the corruption in the country like for since the beginning, you know. But I remember when I was young, the corruption every time that we had this thing, like some news, they try to cover that. But right now they're like just a fuck up, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because we are having this authoritarian government that are giving a shit for the population, giving shit or respect or everything. But I think the things are changing because is that like maybe it's this win game that for example we are sorry about I'm talking about it's a lot but is this I think is one issue that is touch me every day. So we are super intense, and I think in this year maybe gonna be higher, you know,
Yeah.
because the election. But let's continue. If not, I'll start to talk about that and that and that.
No, but it's so necessary, and I really appreciate that you open this kind of conversation because it's the reality, right? And well, your work is so interesting because it's not only an aesthetic experience, but also each artwork has a layer of meaning, a layer of open conversation that is amazing that we will have the opportunity to talk with you, André. And well, talking about that, the next series that I would like to invite you to explore is Noturnos from 2020. And I know that the selection of the title, the selection of the materials and images that you research are so important in your production. And here you are showing us a confrontation of protests and the consequence that many protesters face after participating in manifestation. And André, tell us about the intersection between your artistic practice and your commitment to explore different concepts around democracy, utopia, reality, manipulation, and control.
No, a lot of things. Well, we'll start explain a little bit about comment about this artwork. I started to develop on the beginning of the pandemic, you know, and was I think for everyone the first year were like was the worst, you know, that we had to be isolated and we didn't know what should happen on the future. So was I think a time for that's the feeling of dystopia was like imminent, you know, and when I start to this work, there are like small pieces. I started my old studio alone, completely alone, and start to reflect about like this idea of progress, feeling this sense of disillusion, of dystopia, and trying to try to build something like this kind of technique that I did. It's that's you frame you create this wood frame, and then you concrete on the middle. You have to create like this metal structure to glue the concrete. It's a process of like this, usually construction, like civil construction, and I start to try to develop this artwork with this base, this concrete base that's a kind of a ruin, are not like a finish or already. They're like this in this moment, this process that you doesn't know much. And then I insert like this newspapers images, some digital newspapers, but like I collect in the internet. Then for example, there are these two images. One is confrontation of some popular demonstration against the police, and another one it's like this. Actually, is Corinthians team, teams club of soccer team. That's they were in some popular strike against the government. So then the history I can talk later about the Corinthians. Very beautiful. They create this theme of democracia corintiana. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But now, on this artwork, I try to. It's basically it's a kind of um, interpretation of the image. So you have like this ruin base, and then you insert the image, and then you have like, of course, this clear situation. So we have like the people here and the police here. So you have like two blocks. So I divide the frame. One is gridded. It's like it's very ordinate, like very like geometric line, and another one is raw.
Yeah.
So like more like that. In another case, you have like this I took it this pattern, this modern pattern, Brazilian pattern, and to balance with this image of democracy. Noturnos, I think we talk a lot about like this kind of dystopy things. So another works of the same series, I try to analyze like Gestalt analyze. So you have like this image that's very strong, like that's happened here in São Paulo, like some followers of this right-wing Bolsonaro parties. They just kick and punch one homeless guy that were on the street. Yeah. So some photographs took this photograph, and then I took this photograph, put on this shape, and analyze the composition. So it's trying to analyze to understand what are happening, because I don't know. It's I think maybe when start the pandemic, the COVID time, when we obliged to be alone, like isolate, the communication start to be only on the interface, on the computer. on the telephone. So the contact with another one was by interface. So, but sometimes, and when I start to think about that, like another interface, of course, we have like these social layers that compose the idea of a society, you know, civilized and everything. But since like this isolation time, I think the time changed. I think the time accelerates, not for us, but for the machine, for like these bots, for the like this AI, IA, like because everyone knows when you Google, the Google like put you in a box. So the research that you have, it's research that they select for you because that's research is for your group. So if you were not allowed to talk to have like this body and emotional experience with another one, that is something that's created the development, creates like new things, and if we're not allowed to do that, the only information that we had was through the screen.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, we start to be like super guides. We start to be even like super control. So because I think it's I start to talk about to talk about this illusion, this dystopy, that change the way to understand the reality. So because that I took it back like this aesthetical reference of Brazilian modernism to talk about like this utopia. Because if you talk about modernism, we talk about politics at the same time, because were the time that we had like this change of capital, this progressive progressive government that creates like this label 50 years in 5. So the idea of push the national industry and everything, and that right now we are living in the opposite road. So we are privatizing everything. We are it's better to export everything, and like for example the petrol right now here in Brazil, we are producer. We have like the Pesal, we have a good oil. So but we are buying right now the price as a foreigner. So same, I think maybe Venezuela is something that we are producing, but the product go outside, is refined, and then we buy back. But we have like this a technology to do that, but it's more interesting for the maybe local and outsiders companies or
yeah,
rich guys to do that. They because when you export you receive in dollar, not real, something insane. But the artwork, I think is something like that.
wow.
Is this kind of
André, thank you. Thank you for sharing your reflection and your interest. And also, as a society, right, we need to be alert about all of this situation because it's not only in Brazil, it's around the world. And André, with these several ideas in our mind, more than ever in the times that we are living, where the world has become more conservative, right? You introduce us in your body of work to important intellectual process. And can we analyze the installation of unit as a prison, unity as a practice of freedom from 2019? And we can see here that the unity is a single brick. And tell us what is the idea behind this and the different possibilities of reading this amazing installation.
Okay. About this installation, unidade como cárcere, unidade como prática de liberdade. There were like a super simple geometric installation that's I line up these red bricks with a steel cable. So I create a kind of a grid, on the like I think we're like 10 centimeters from the floor high. So this is a high view of the installation. Maybe if you change for another view, yeah, thank you. Maybe it's better for the public to see. If you allow to see, you see that like these steel cable lines. They were like lining up the bricks. So you have like these different compositions, different situations. So I put like on a reflection about like this this prison that's we can understand about to be inside the grid, inside the system, or then outside that. So sometimes it's kind of this moment of dreaming or daydream of utopia that you have to be outside to change the things. I think maybe it's another illusion. It's impossible to get outside. But the work, I think, we're talking about that. So you have like this case, this huge line. So you have like this steel cable guiding that. So you have like this single brick isolate, but super controlled because you have like this grid of the cables. And then you have like two cases. One that's with the simple one that's this down image. You have this area intention of the steel cable. That's the one thing, and then I try to put like more bricks inside this area. So with this tension, the brick broke. So you have that like this form, and then in another case on the top you have like this with this example that with one single and simple movement you create this kind of freedom of this grid. So you have like this, because you only have like this one level gridded, and then you have like this one brick on the top. So they are out of that. So I think the work it's we're talking about this this situation that thinking about, like, for example, Foucault. Foucault talk about a lot of this system of control. Talk about a lot of the doctrine to conditionate the body, you know, to be controlled. So, but at the same time, all the speeches, all the thoughts had this super condition that's like a super, everything was like tough, like super hard, and it's another time, like we had like this different thinking of society, like the industrial society, you know, that we have like this like sign for Fordismo, this thinking that's creating the development through like the machine, the acceleration of the same movements, you know. But after Foucault, we I think we are not. Of course, it's he were talking about this thinking about maybe governments that create this powerful system of control to control the population, to domain another territories, and like this on the systematic way, you know. And but right now it's a kind of different way, you know. To control it, it's not only about put like the army and the police on the street to control the population. It's more about the desire right now. Mm-hmm. I think, like I said, we are living another time. That's the desire, I think, is the most weapon to control. So, like talking about with you right now, my telephone is bumping. Instagram, it's like have like a life there.
Yeah.
And then you're not. I'm not obliged to turn on, but they insinuate every time. So of course, when I'm talking about you with you, so with something, and the next moment at the internet, when I turn on, appear the products. So they're listening, and then they are guiding your desire. I think it's worse than guiding your body, to put the doctrine on your body, to have like this, if you are inside the class, you have the teacher here, and then down the students. Now it's like it's more random, but at the same time it's not random. Looks like a super that maybe we are free, we have internet, we have like I paint my hair, I do what I want, but it's not like that. Everything is controlled. It's worse because we doesn't know where the enemy are. The kind of it's a kind of this process we're talking about.
Yeah, André, for sure, you're right. And well, time flies. We have more AdWords to analyze with you, but I would like to invite you to open the Q&A session with our audience, and I will invite Jorge Cibaja, the curatorial assistant, to open the session.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Feel free to send in a question via the Q&A or the chat function. and it's an open platform, so please feel free to ask whatever question you would like. But in the meantime, I would like to open with a question of my own, Andre. I'd like to hear a little bit more about what your relationship is to material. There's a lot of industrial material in your work. Sort of what is the relationship for you between the ideas that you work with and the material that you decide to sort of invest your ideas into, or place your ideas into?
Well, okay, thank you for the question. I think at the beginning I start to work with that with this kind of cheap material, no, industrial material, because we're like the material that I have access to buy and to get, and then later I start to analyze a little bit deeper about that, because it's not about the that's cheap. It's about that is raw. It's about that's using this kind of raw and cheap material. Maybe could be another code for like regular people understand that. I can explain and talk about one example. In Venice Biennial, I did another installation at the facade of the gallery, the palazzo, the space. That was this official mast that's used to hang the flag, but without the flag, and had these old sneakers hanging there. So I were like there like 7 days per week, with the opening, talking with the public and the people. And then I realized that the people that most understood the work and were most interested were like the cleaners, the security guys, like these people that usually the art people don't see, but they are like the base of the all exhibitions, like the hangers, the cleaners, the security. They build the exhibitions, no? So they know, but I think because the interest of them were like, okay, but you put like an old sneaker there. Why old sneaker? It's not right like a flag. Yeah, but it's like, if you understand like the quotidian, like this more anarchic view of the idea of a nation, of like that's it's composed by the people. It's not like a symbol that were like constructed with someone. And then they like, oh, right, yeah, that's true. So it's something like that. Like it's a very beautiful when you do work with nothing. It's something that's I explain a lot with my students in Cidade Tiradentes, that you do, because we are talking about Cidade Tiradentes. It's a extreme east zone, peripheric zone in São Paulo. Super poor. It's like a favela. Mm-hmm. And we know that to do art, it's almost impossible if you don't have like something. But I explained that you can do art with nothing. Like art is like a thought, like it's a thinking. that you developing something that you don't need to buy or like something. You can catch something and create like this metaphor for that on the quotidian of this ordinary thing. Because that I think I start and continue to work with this raw materials of this um, the materials that is there are everywhere and something.
Definitely. I will ask one more question. Um, you talked a lot during the conversation about sort of abstraction and some of the dangers of abstraction, some of the dangers of velocity, speed with which, like, I don't know, things like the internet and other things like that have created in our society. What is your art and your interests in, or what is your interest sort of in slowing down? What is your interest in sort of working against that slowness, or how do you see that manifested in your work?
Okay.
Sorry.
Actually, no, it's okay. It's perfect question. Actually, it's a thing that I was thinking a couple months ago. It's about these high speeds that we are living. So when you are on a high speed, you don't follow the true information. You don't going deep on the on the facts. So you just do it like that on the screen. So you have like this just the spot like tum 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 tum. So if you do that, it's more easier to control you. It's more easier to guide you for somewhere. Um, during this pandemic time, I had to move on my old studio that used to be like super big studio, and then I move on to my apartment. I think 15 years working outside, and then I'm here. So we're talking about work with like these raw materials, big sizes, and everything. And I start to be obliged to do small things, and that's okay. At the moment, this doesn't matter. But the thing that I'm talking, and I start to paint oil. That's for me was like a super weird. I never paint. Like I did like some watercolors, like big watercolors for a time, but I never paint oil. And when I start to do that, and I start to think about that, that's I believe that they're painting, but they're not like a traditional paint. It's more like a diary. There are small. I will take just for example. Uh, for example, that it's oil painting on the plywood. That was like this material that I had here. I cut it in small size and start to paint a kind of the the landscape, the reality that I have here in downtown São Paulo. So we have like these situations like this because since this we had like this passive government, the street population higher like 70%. So in downtown, it's worse. There are like more people. So this is my scenario. So, but doing that, painting in oil, I start to think about the technique because I never been interested to paint, you know, even oil that's super traditional, no. And I start to think about the speed because oil to paint you have to be slow because you have to respect the material because it's oil. If you start to paint it, you create like this blurred this thing that's no. And I start to think about that like this speed. So start to be like in my process of meditation to understand this high speed that we are living. I didn't know. I don't know if I answered your questions. Sometimes my mind just go.
Oh yeah, definitely. It definitely covers the question. Thank you so much. With that, we'll close the Q&A. We're past 12. Thank you so much, Gabriela, and thank you so much, Andre, again for your time.
Thank you, Jorge.
Thank you.
And thank
Jorge.
you, André. Thank you so much. Obrigado for your time, for share with us your thought, your amazing work, and thank you for your generosity.
Thank you, Gabriela. Thank you, Alison, and
Thank you so much for
Jorge.
coming.
I'm super happy. I hope that I explain a little bit more about my work, and yeah, it's like that. Thank you again.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone from MOLAA. Thank you for coming us this afternoon. We've dropped in a link for more episodes of the Zoom project. Please follow us on our page. And again, Andre, Gabriela, Jorge, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Ciao.